beautiful people of YouTube, my name is Oliverkatt, and this is going to be an actual review of Pokemon MMO. Now I say actual because when I started Pokemon MMO, I looked for any prior reviews of this game, only to find out that the majority of those reviews, as they were called, consisted of confused Let's Players trying to figure out how the game works. Now, you would think if someone titled a video of a review, they'd have some kind of idea of how to play the game. I guess not. If I wanted to find Dog Chases Frisbee on YouTube, I would expect to see videos of Lassie doing so. Or, if I search Hannah Montana, you bet I want the best of both fucking worlds. If I want flying noodles in space, well goddamn I want my flying noodles in space. But, I digress, so let's begin. So it's important to understand that Pokemon MMO isn't the godsend of all Pokemon games that we've been waiting for. Instead, Pokemon MMO, and with the intelligence of the rogue programmers who helped develop it, uses classic Pokemon assets through ROM hacking, with Pokemon Ruby for the Game Boy Advance as its primary layout for the whole game. Now, for starters, you should know that it's mandatory to have a ROM copy of Pokemon Fire Red to make the client functional, which it doesn't come with, and in most cases, this is considered pirating, because of a few corporate knobs that can't deal with losing a few cents off of their million-dollar paychecks. But, like I said, Pokemon MMO uses assets from these ROMs to run and draw the game. Now, not mandatory, but highly recommended is also obtaining Pokemon Emerald, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver for extras here and there. I'm not your parent, I'm not going to tell you it's wrong, I'm just going to tell you what you need. Now you're ready to play the game. Again, like I said, Pokemon MMO is basically Pokemon Ruby for the Game Boy Advance, with major differences noticed as soon as you log in, but we'll break them down. For starters, you can have a follower, which was only incorporated in Pokemon I Don't Remember and Pokemon Who Gives a Fuck. Secondly, everything that involves Game Boy controls has now been translated to PC. Example, you can use your mouse to interact with your HUD on screen, bring up the Pokénav, the Pokédex, inventory, etc. Now, lastly, but most importantly, is the multiplayer feature. Yes, multiplayer. Through the entirety of the game, you can, and you will, encounter players to battle, trade, friend, date, hate, you name it. And because of this, the game actually features teams, which would be your MMO equivalent to guilds, clans, or posses, or homies, or comrades, whatever, get it now? Now, let's talk about gameplay. Like I said, the game is pretty straightforward, and let's be honest, you play one Pokemon game, you basically play them all. Not that I dislike Pokemon games, but you gotta admit, it's kind of the truth. This is accurate until it comes to legendary Pokemon. Legendary Pokemon are never really yours when they're caught. Instead, they're more like titles, which can be won and lost through multiplayer battles. Now, personally, I like this feature because it keeps Pokemon tryhards and little 4-year-olds from using the same Pokemon over and over and over again. The game also features the continents Hoenn and Kanto, and everything that happens in between, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you're looking for a AAA Pokemon title for something you've never played before, you're not going to find that here. Essentially, Pokemon MMO is just Pokemon Ruby with multiplayer thrown in. Now it's time for my personal issues with the game. Now, gameplay-wise, at the beginning, it's pretty much everything you expect when it comes to smooth gameplay, but as soon as you start to reach the end of the storyline, you begin to encounter more and more glitches. And if you watch my Let's Play, you see that I complain about them. A lot, actually. On top of that, you get the occasional crash here and there, coupled with the complete and utter silence when the client decides not to play any music. Another one of my gripes would be the encounter rate in the game. Literally, every 5 steps you walk, like if you're trying to walk to the bathroom, there's gonna be like 8 Pokemon in between you and the bathroom. And that's not what I want when I'm trying to take a dump at 3 o'clock in the morning. I really just want to go to the bathroom and not fight 8 people on the way there. But my biggest issue is the breeding rework in this game. Normally, when you breed 2 Pokemon, you get 3 back in return, being Mom, Dad, and Baby. Instead, the game tries to prevent players from obtaining too many Pokemon to help balance out the economy in the game, so you don't get back your parents after breeding. On top of that, you also get to choose a sex and view the possible outcomes for your Pokebabies IVs. And to me, since breeding is one of the things that I like to do most when it comes to Pokemon, that pretty much ruined it for me. Now hold on to your horses. Hold on to your horses. Again, this is just my opinion. But, with all that said, if you are a fan of Pokemon, the card game, the TV show, and of course the video games, then this is a must-play game. The feeling you get from player-to-player interaction is amazing and the most enjoyable part of playing Pokemon MMO. In my opinion, with all the glitches, all the reworks and whatever, This has got to be close to the best Pokemon game that's ever existed, just because of the multiplayer feature. A feature that no official Pokemon game has, at least when it comes to the standards of MMO. Literally, what makes this game is its player-to-player interaction, and because of the fact that Nintendo and Game Freak has really never made a game like this, this game actually sits really high in the charts for me. You know how Nintendo is, or how Game Freak is. When they make a new Pokemon game, they usually take something out of it from the last. There was Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, where you could have a follower, I believe. It was that one. And then they took it out for the next coming games. Like, I don't get it. Why wouldn't you want a follower? Why would you put a feature in a game and take it out for the next one that's coming out? Why would you do that? I don't understand. Better example is the dressing feature. I don't remember, but it was one of the recent Pokemons that came out. You were able to dress your avatar completely, and then the newer one that came out, well, now you can't. Why do you do that, Game Freak? I don't understand. We're supposed to go up, not the other way. Now, I'm gonna thank you guys for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please drop a like. And like I always say, if you are new to my channel and would like to see more of my content, go ahead and subscribe. You know, I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. My name is Oliverkatt, and I'm signing out.